What a nice, beautiful day. I don't have anything I have to do today. You can just relax and... Oh, what's this? This just in. There is not enough people in the world who know how to properly groom a horse. I'm on it. Okay, we've been summoned. Let's go groom a horse the right way. Okay, we are on a mission to show you how to groom a horse the proper way, which is my way. No, just kidding. There's actually a bunch of different ways you can do it. But step one, gather your supplies. Starting with your horse, that's a good place to start. It would be really hard to groom without one. And then when you have your grooming supplies, which consists of a curry comb, we have a hard brush, a soft brush, a face brush, a hoof pick, a mane and tail comb, a sponge, and sweat scraper if needed. Now, first things first, you're probably going to want to start on the near side, and you're going to grab your curry comb. A lot of curries will have this little handle. You just slide your hand, and it's fitted like so. You're going to start on the shoulder, on the side of the horse, just somewhere where it's easy for you to... Oh, she just unpulled her knot. She figured out how to do it. Bad girl. Start with your curry comb at the shoulder and just applying gentle pressure, move it in a circle. Now what this is going to do is just going to lift all the dirt and debris to the surface of the horse so that we can brush it off later. It's a good idea to start at the shoulder, especially if you're not familiar with the horse, in case they're sensitive around their neck area, their girth area, belly, any of that. Be sure to get under them as well, taking special care where the girth goes. And this is a really good time to inspect your horse, see if there's any bumps, lumps, scratches, abrasions, or sensitive spots on the horse. It's a good way to just get an overall assessment of how your horse is doing. Now, anytime you move on the other side of your horse like I'm about to do, make sure you're talking to your horse in a nice calm voice so they know you're there. You can even touch your horse too, just so they're aware that you're going on the other side and you don't surprise them. Next, grab your hard brush, also called a dandy brush in some parts of the world. And this is going to be what you flick all that debris, all that surface dirt off. So again, starting at the shoulder, you're gonna start from the top, the front of the horse, and just gentle flicks to fling all the debris off. And again, paying special attention to the girth area. Now, because the hard brush, aptly named because its bristles are hard and stiff, avoid certain parts of the horse's body with this brush, like bony parts, meaning the legs, the face, the ears. We have special brushes for those particular parts of the body. Start from the front and work your way to the back, like so. Good girl. Next, we're going to use our soft brush with soft bristles, also called a body brush. And as you can probably surmise, this is for the body of the horse. So same as with the hard brush, you can go over the body with it. And with the soft brush, you can actually go into the more delicate areas, such as the legs. Good girl. Yeah, there's no food in there, I'm sorry. The belly, the back legs, the booty cheek. Good girl. Make sure you get behind this fetlock joint as well. A lot of times in muddy season, especially if they have feathers, they can get a bunch of dirt and debris here, and it can cause some pretty chronic skin irritation. So just make sure you're getting underneath this joint here as well. Good girl. And now we'll move on to the feet. So I have a hoof pick. Ones I like have the metal part for scraping debris out of the hoof, but it also has a brush. This is good for if you have to pack medication into the horse's hoof or brushing the little bits that are clinging to the hoof after you scrape. Having a dual hoof pick with the brush is awesome. Start at the shoulder and you just run your hand down the horse's leg, and then you can apply a little bit of pressure the opposite way. And then you're going to take your little hoof pick, and you see this thing's called a frog. This is a soft part of the horse's hoof. So you're going to want to get into this corner and scrape away. Because if you scrape like this, you can actually end up hurting the horse if you hit the heel or the other soft tissues of the horse. So you just gently like this, and then I like to brush it like so. Good girl. Let your horse know they are very good when they pick up their hoof. You don't want to get into a battle with a 1,200-pound animal picking up their leg. They're like 20 times stronger than me, if not more. So teaching your horse to pick up their legs. And it's the same for the back as well. Good girl. So it's pretty dry. She doesn't have a lot of debris in here. But right down this part of the frog and brush it out. Good girl. Next, we're gonna go with this very soft little brush called a face brush. We're gonna go over the very delicate parts of the face. When you're using this brush, you still wanna make sure you're avoiding the eyes, inside the ears, and only use it if your horse tolerates it. A lot of horses are head shy, meaning they don't like things coming at their face. Remember, horses are prey animals, so they are at the bottom of the food chain. Anything coming toward the face can be a little menacing. So proceed with caution. You have to use this very much with her because her face doesn't normally get very dirty, but you can start with a place like the cheekbone and the jaw, keeping it away from their eye. You can brush their forehead, go down their nose with it very gently. If they tolerate the ears, you can do the ears as well. Not the inside, just the outside of the ear. And a lot of times they can get like crusties and little bits of debris under their halter. So you can pull up their halter a little bit and brush underneath, getting the back of their ears on the pole. Good girl. You're just doing very soft, short stroking motions. And a lot of times this isn't needed. It's mostly for the days where it's mud season and there's a bunch of crusty dusties on their face. You obviously don't want to put a halter or a bridle on a horse when there's dirt and debris because it'll cause some rubbing. Next, we have a handy dandy mane and tail brush. So it looks a lot like a human brush. Some of them are the squares and rectangles that typically people would use. I just have a circular one. It does the same thing. So to do the forelock, approach the horse from the side so you can hop out of the way if they don't like it. Now, Saoirse here, I do this with her all the time. So she's quite all right. So to do the forelock, you're going to put your hand underneath the forelock just to buffer the forehead. Remember, they have very delicate structures here. You don't want to accidentally bonk them, and work your way up. So ends, working your way up. Good girl. Now, if you need to apply some detangler to this part of the hair, never spray it directly on the horse's forelock because it will sting their eyes and it has additives that are very harmful to the eyes. So spray it directly on your brush if you need to apply detangler to the forelock. Now, to do the mane, very similar, starting from the bottom and working your way up. You could also use a comb. I do find that the comb tends to pull out more of the horse's mane than I like. And I like to keep her hair nice and thick and beautiful. So I stick with the brush, but you do what works best for you. Good girl. Working your way from the bottom up to the top so we're not pulling hair out. And we're being gentle with our brushing. Good girl. Now with the mane, If the horse will tolerate it, you can apply detangler directly to the mane. Just be careful as you get toward the front of the horse because you don't want it in the eye. I would say once you start to get close to where the halter meets the ears, that's a good time to switch and put your spray directly on your brush. Now to do the tail, you're going to want to make sure your horse is aware you're there. So talking in a nice calm voice, petting them so they know you're there. And then you can lightly touch the tail and work your way down, pulling it toward you and staying to the side of the horse so that if something were to happen, you can step out of the way. If the horse kicks, they're going to kick whatever is behind them and you'll be clear out of the way. Starting at the bottom and working your way up. And you can also apply the detangler directly to the tail if they'll tolerate it. If not, just apply it with your brush. Good girl. If your horse has a poo stain or a grass stain, a lot of times you can get it out with just a regular old sponge and a little bit of water. So you would just take your sponge, dip it in your water, and then you would just apply the water and wipe in the direction of the hair growth so it's most comfortable for the horse. And if that doesn't take care of it, there are grass stain removers in the form of a spray. You can always spray it on the grass stain itself to see if that'll lift it. And worst case scenario, you can always bathe your horse with horse-specific shampoo. Girly. If you want to see a video on how to bathe a horse, let me know in the comments. I can definitely hook you up. She's like, what's in here? Any food? No. So Saoirse doesn't have any grass stains on her at the moment for once in your life. So we're just simulating this process. Good girl. Now, if you do have to bathe your horse, either to clean them, if you are just spraying them because it's hot out and you're cooling them down, you're gonna wanna remove the water with a sweat scraper so that it doesn't trap heat. If you have water on your horse, like in a cool hose, and it's continuously being applied to your horse's coat, you don't need to scrape it. Only if you're coming to an end of spraying your horse, then you're gonna wanna remove it. And so you'll notice what I have right here has a little black squeegee soft blade. So similarly to squeegeeing a car or your windows, you just gently flick, gently push down and flick out. And you do that to the top of the horse, making sure you get all that water and sweat off. And you do it to the bottom of the horse too, and the neck. They do produce a lot of sweat on the portion of their neck, this part of their chest. So super important that you don't skip out and forget those areas as well. All right, so she is pristine and clean, but only today. By the time I get back, she's gonna be filthy, to be sure. She loves to roll, so we'll have to do the process all over again. The reason you're gonna always want to groom your horse is because if you're riding them, you do not want to cause rubs, so always make sure they're nice and clean first. And even if you don't ride your horse, it's always good to get rid of the debris from their skin because it can cause irritation. If they have environmental allergies, they can have things that kind of cling to their fur, like pollen. It's always good to get that off them anyway. And it's also just a good time to bond with your horse and do a little inspection, make sure everything's a-okay. Her mane is not dirty. I dyed her mane a little bit, so we got some yellow highlights going on still. Hi, girly. So if you found this video to be of use, or if you enjoyed it, or if you didn't, let me know in the comments, what did I miss? What do you do differently? What are some of the names you call some of the supplies used to groom horses? I think it's so interesting that other cultures around the world do things differently. They call them different names. So let me know in the comments how you do it and if you'd like to see a video on how to bathe a horse, because I can definitely do that as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.